Hey, general contractors, welcome to the Topping Off podcast, where we interview general contractors to find out who they are, how they got started, and what they are doing to reach the top in their local markets. So on this episode, we're here with Dennis Sarlo of Sarlo Kitchen and Bath from Montgomery, New York. Welcome, Dennis.
How are you?
Hey, doing great, thanks. Thanks for coming. And if you would, for us, please just tell us a little bit about your business, how long you've been in business, how you got started, if you want to give us an idea of the scale of your operation, some details. We'll dig deeper.
Sure. I'd like to start the show by saying thank you very much for having me on. I really appreciate it. Any kind of exposure to a new business is really advantageous to everybody in the market. We have some things that we'll go over today that are kind of best found secrets and also best kept secrets, and then also just the industry standard things that are things that I see best that are coming down the pipeline in the cabinetry world. And I thank you for having me on to do this. But getting started right off the bat is how long I've been in business. I've been in business for a total of one full year today, actually. So as far as we started last year around this time, and as far as one full year of business has yielded about $1.5 million in sales. We have, as far as employees, currently, we have some designers. We have two designers, as well as myself. I am captain, cook, and pot washer of my business. So anybody that's in business or an entrepreneur can understand that. Next thing is as far as trucks or service vehicles, we depend largely on direct service. So we do direct drops. Instead of shipping things out, I feel when you have a service like trucking and you decide to master that, there's more touches that you have to do, touching each box twice rather than it going straight to the customer. We believe here in quality, expectation for the customer is that it's going to come undamaged. And the only way that we can kind of assure that is it being touched once by the actual vendor that's putting it together and dropping it off. So we do direct drops straight to the site. We also provide services that are kind of above average for this area and this market. It's really what we do is we make sure as we're doing the drop that we're opening boxes, that we're quality inspecting, that we're inspecting the material for any type of damages or things that are overlooked. This really kind of catches up on the back side of things like installation. If you were to go to install and then you find out there's a cracked cabinet or something that is not quite right with the finish, the pickup time, knowing that it happened the day of delivery, is going to be much quicker rather than finding out, sometimes a month, a week, a day, 5 days later when the actual kitchen is being installed. So we use that as one of our services that we provide for no cost, as something that is really attractive to the customer. The markets that we serve are really kind of, I like to say we'll go where we're needed. So we've done jobs out of state. We've done local jobs. We go anywhere from Fort Lee to all the way up to Monticello, Albany. We've done Massachusetts installs. So there's really I've entertained Florida installs, the state of. So there's really no scope that we won't do. And then opposite to that, there's no location that we won't travel to make a customer happy.
Yeah, fantastic. And how exactly did you get into this business?
So I used to be in the restaurant business. I used to be the proprietor of Bonefish Grill, kind of a nationwide brand that a lot of people know of. I was the proprietor for 3 locations that they had. I opened up 3 stores for them. And so in being in the restaurant business, I'm a service-driven person. With that, I really kind of the main pride in everything that I do is making sure that the customer is happy from start to finish. And The rest of it is second. We have materials that are made from a vendor. We are going to deliver them out, and we are going to, provide services, maybe to install, maybe to find them a local installer, whatever that their particular need is. However, really what it comes down to is, were they happy from start to finish, and will we regain repeat business from them? And that's the number one thing. How did we start? I've always known that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. Coming from the restaurant field, I knew that I wanted to make a change, and really kind of what I did was I made that change, and I got into, some people say I went from a kitchen to designing kitchens, but it is in that I know a lot about kitchen usage. So when I'm designing a kitchen, you're not just getting somebody that is not familiar with traffic patterns and the use of a kitchen, or potentially when I say traffic patterns, how much distance is in between the cabinets? Is it going to be comfortable for the person cooking in the kitchen or walking through? Things like that become very important when you're just mapping out. It's not just putting boxes on a plan. You really kind of have to be in depth with the design, overall aesthetic, and the use factor. So we have things called working triangles. We want to make sure there's a certain distance between all of the appliances, so that this way we're not stretched out too far and it flows nicely. So in that, I have a lot of personal experience with kitchen and high volume cooking. So that has lent just to a positive outcome for me and for the customers that I serve. But as far as how did I get into this business, I kind of stumbled into this business. We ended up having a family member that was gracious enough to teach me the ropes and kind of, teach me how to sell kitchens and get into the kitchen business. And I always knew that I wanted to go out on my own. So what I did was I opened up my own store, and we just started last year, February. So it's been the best thing that I've ever done. Super excited about this year, the close of this year, the close of last year, and then the starting of this one. Just new benchmarks. We plan on being a $5 million business in the first 3 years.
That's phenomenal. So, we'll get into it, but I know that a lot of people's ears are going to perk up hearing that kind of growth.
Yeah.
Anything you want to tell us right now about how you feel like you've been able to achieve that kind of success in such a short amount of time?
Well, it's, some people would say I've had a Cinderella story at first, and really kind of others that know and are an entrepreneur and have been in the situation. Once you decide to make this jump, there's really, your back is against the wall to be successful or not, right? So what ends up happening is you end up, if you're willing to put in the hours and you're willing to grind, then hopefully you will be fruitful for the work that you put in. And the relationships that I have created over the last probably 15 years, that has been the better part of, what do they say? Your network is your net worth. When you do quality work, and you continue to have relationships with people, then people have and holds their trust with you. So with that being said, it is really just, I am a byproduct. I do an excellent job. However, without facilitating relationships and networking, there's no way to grow and achieve what we've achieved in such a short amount of time.
Fantastic. And do you guys do any commercial work also, or is that kind of another animal?
Absolutely. So as far as the scope of what we do, there's nothing. So we would get a comment such as, "Oh, this job is too small for you," or "I apologize for giving you this little of a job." There is no job too big, no job too small. We do craftsman work at a fair price, and really kind of that is the motto. We aim to, capture every job, whether it's a flip or if it's a new construction build. On new construction builds, there's all levels of different of builder. Some people do one house a year. Some people do two. Some people do 20. If you're doing subdivision work versus, just the occasional flip, So we do everything from flips to new construction to multi-unit buildings. We just completed a multi-unit building in the center of Goshen. It was a tremendously great job. Very, very nice owner. And we really like doing multi-unit work, but there's no work that we won't do. So anything from a bathroom remodel, meaning if they need a cabinet, for a contractor, we have primarily what we are a contractor business first, and then we are a retail business second. Facilitating relationships with contractors. I always say what we're out to do, we're not out to compete with the contractors. The contractors are the backbone of what needs to be sustained in this business. Without the people to install the kitchens, there's not going to be kitchens to then install. If we start losing trade, then from choking other people out from, it's really just, we want to make sure that we facilitate a healthy environment for everybody involved. And we understand that here at Sarlo Kitchen and Bath. So if you're a contractor, you could feel comfortable bringing your customer here, and that we're not going to take the installation away from you, or that we're not going to, minimize the scope of work. It really is just a family environment, and also a healthy environment for growth for everybody involved with us.
That's fantastic. And something I hear from some contractors, it's kind of two sides. Some contractors are looking for clients, so they're trying to connect to someone like you. And then similarly, I talk to contractors who can't find good subs. So would you say that the contractors are coming to you, or do you guys ever actively sort of solicit relationships?
So we actively solicit. So as far as, and in the way of solicitation is going up with a cup of coffee onto a job site and meeting people. That is kind of the number one way to just kind of interact. You have to interact with people. People have to be trusted. Nobody's going to, when you walk onto a site, people are sizing you up, and they're making their impression based off of how you communicate with them. And they've had 100 other people walk onto that site, and until that connection happens with you, they're not going to use you. So it really is just the matter of it's not, you can't stay within your box. So a store, so we have a new build out here at 151 Ward Street in the village of Montgomery. And that is going to be another location that we will support and make sure that is staffed. However, if I were to stay here every single day, then I wouldn't understand what's going on out in the world. So what we have to do constantly is we constantly have to market. We constantly have to, entertain, make sure that we're staying fresh and new with everybody. Also relevant. If people don't see my face, then basically what ends up happening is they grow distant. So really kind of making sure that we have a personal connection with all of our contractors is very important to us.
Yeah, no, fantastic. What would you say has been some of your biggest challenges in growing the business?
Some of the biggest challenges are, I would say, staffing. Really kind of growing your business is getting business. Once you learn to network properly, is not the largest feat. The largest feat is facilitating the work. So I would say putting your time into qualified people is really that is your number one challenge and your number one goal to become successful. Because if you don't have the time for them, then they don't have the time to grow. So you really need a backbone of a strong crew to help you facilitate the amount of work that you could go out. If I go out and I, gain another 5 jobs today, well, we make a very strong, we have a strong understanding here that the fastest person to the quote is the fastest person to get the job. So if you have a job that is going to particularly take 3 days to quote, it should take that 3 days to get pricing to them. So as far as if they know that it's probably about a 3-day job to quote, then because we're making that very aware right from the point of us taking a plan from somebody, then they're expecting numbers within 3 days. If you take 2 weeks, then that's absolutely, showing your hand. It's showing that if it's making them feel that they're not important, and then also that maybe you're overloaded or can't take their workload seriously. So that being said, we go ahead and we make sure that from the point of template or the point of taking somebody's plan from them, or by PDF or by physical plan, from scaling to producing a design, we're usually about 48 hours. So at 48 hours, that is a very quick turnaround time. If we could get it done within the day, then we will. If it's a smaller plan, then we will go ahead and do so. But there is a high concentration on getting plans back, quotes back, and numbers in front of somebody as fast as possible.
Fantastic. And if you would walk us through your tech stack, are you using laser scanning for spaces? What software are you using to generate your estimates?
So we use technology. So there is a lot of cutting edge things coming out that I am not very familiar with. We do not use any type of laser scanning as of yet. It's not something that I've dove into. When you do take on something like that, there's a tremendous investment in it. And the amount, I'm just not sure the amount so with laser scanning, when you go ahead and you laser scan a room, you still have to import it somewhere. Then after that, you have to explain that plan and what the customer wants back to someone else. So really, does it save that much time? It could. It could if you were doing 5 or 6 or 7 in a day and you had to upload them quickly. That could save time like that. But if that's for mass scale, I think that would be more useful. You'll see that use in granite fabrication because they're taking so many templates of different shapes, and it's an easy way to upload straight to a CNC machine or something like this. As far as for us, usually what we're doing is we're taking, 2 sides of a room. And, we're concerned mainly with building the areas that are going to hold cabinetry. With that, it's easy for us to reconstruct that space in a short amount of time. And what we use is usually there's 2 programs that pretty much everybody uses in this market, which is either Pro Kitchen or 2020. Those are the CAD programs that allow us to create the architecturals or the layouts for what we do. And 2020 is the kitchen that we've chosen, or the kitchen program that we've chosen. And with that, we really like the system. It is the designers of 2020, I guess they had some programmers that split off and had made the Pro Kitchen platform. So they're very similar in the way that they work. I just happen to like this one particularly because it does automatic updates. So they used to have to upload catalogs to 2020's program. And basically what would happen is if that catalog or the correct or newest catalog wasn't entered or downloaded manually, then you wouldn't have the right pricing in it. And Pro Kitchen does it automatically, so you never have to worry if your pricing is incorrect.
Yeah, wonderful. Now, you said a couple of minutes ago, you used the phrase, if someone knows how to network properly. So you talked about some of your principles of how you like to conduct relationships. How does that sort of play out in a tactical perspective of networking?
Well, I think that tactical is an aggressive word for networking. It is accurate because we definitely want to isolate the people that we want to do business with. But I always if we take the tactical portion out of it, Nothing should feel that it is not what's the correct word, that genuine. That's really kind of what you in any way, shape, or form, creating any type of relationship, whether it be your best friend or a business relationship, you should definitely have a genuine approach. So in a lot of cases, I like to go out to dinner. So as far as my wife and I, we've been in the food business for a very long time, and we have a lot of like local gems around here with great food, and we just like to, enjoy the company with the people that we're going to do business with and or already do business with. So it should be a relationship of, business is tough enough already. It's everybody, really, what is business? It's everybody struggling to survive. So, and no matter how much money you make and what your revenue is per year, it's still the same thing. You get done with one job and you're looking for the next. So at that, why not do it in a fun way? Why not have somebody that you enjoy doing business with and creating that network of which you go out together and you have fun? And then it's when work is work, work is work. So we try to create that type of environment, and anybody that is, part of our network, we always try to reach out and, just say, hey, listen, why don't we go sit down and have a great bite to eat and have some great conversation, and then see each other again sometime during this week for business.
No, we need to get a restaurant shout out, I think, right now. We got to hear some of the favorites.
So some of the favorites are, we have definitely, the first shout out has to go to my neighbor, Brian, who owns Wardsbridge Inn. He has a wonderful restaurant here locally, which is right next to us. We're on 151 Ward Street, and I think that there's one house that separates us and the restaurant. So as far as, it's a great happy hour spot to stop at, and then also obviously for their dinner service. Their dinner service is wonderful. They've done nothing but a great job in this town for a very long time. But as well as 88 Charles Street is a local place as well. Alton and Arbor do a fantastic job there. We also have Java Blue, which is a cafe local in town that Davide, he does a wonderful, wonderful job for breakfast, lunch, and specialties on Fridays. So he does Italian specialties on Fridays. But he's a coffee shop that is also gluten-free. He has gluten-free pastries and such. So there's a tremendous operation and things there. And then we also have Anna and Leo over at Polish Brazilian Fusion. So that is a really, really also a nice treat. They make you feel at home. That is literally, when you walk in there, you're going to receive hugs and appreciation for being there. They have wonderful cooking. They just added a bar into their restaurant. So as far as now, you can get liquor service there. They do everything from breakfast to lunch to dinner. Now they just changed their hours, so they're open from Thursday to Sunday, and they're just, everybody here in the town is great. And for any of those other businesses that I hadn't mentioned, they all do a tremendous job here.
Yeah, Montgomery is such a gem. Restaurant hotspot, it's a sleeper spot, I think.
Yeah.
People need to get after it.
For sure.
Now, you talk definitely about networking a lot and just marketing in general. Is there anything else in your stack that you feel like has worked for you? Like, do you guys do signs, or do you wrap trucks or anything like that?
So as far as really kind of what we do for marketing this year, we've signed up with Gold's Gym. We're on every 15 minutes for their total hours of operation for the full year. And then every year to come. I think that it's an excellent it's an excellent marketing place where we're placed in front of all of the largest high traffic areas. The high traffic areas being like the treadmills and such, where you're working out, or in front of the weight machines that are the most centrally located to the large amounts of people. So they have, I think, 5 TVs that run ads during the year. and that is nonstop from open to close. That was one of them. We're with local golf courses. We just signed up to be in, I believe, Otter Kills Golf Course on their scorecards. We've also entertained doing other publications, such as right now there's other golf courses that we're in the works with. I can't name them by name because it's a conglomerate of multiple golf courses, and I don't want to miss one. But right now we are on pretty much a circuit of golf courses around here. The next thing is I think that we were kind of pushing out to maybe doing grocery stores where there's a large focus of people. So we'll see about that. But we have our marketing budget eaten up for this year so far, and we do a lot of social media marketing as far as for posts and such, and try to build up our Facebook following. So if anybody happens to want to see anything that's new and up and coming with Sarlo Kitchen and Bath, go on to Dennis Sarlo on Facebook, and it's just DENNIS SARLO, and then follow me. You'll see cooking stuff, you'll see kitchen stuff, you'll see family stuff, and it's really fun.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you use any kind of like CRM software to kind of like attribute, like, oh, those ads came from the gym, or those customers came from the gym, or those customers came from golf?
We don't track in that way as far as yet, because of it just being a full year. I feel like we're not getting a return in that way. Yeah. We're getting a return of recognition, which is by and large what happens with social media. In social media, you're not generally getting a lot of calls, regardless of how many times your number is offered, or a slogan that you might put, or a promotion that you might be running. Really kind of what happens in Reels and such is that you have just branding notification, and so it's basically notoriety in the public space. So basically what happens with that, we're just getting out there and becoming the familiar face, we're becoming the familiar logo. And really what happens is you put something that is entertaining, or that people respect, that you did it really well, or just like things like this. I mean, I might look at this afterwards and say, hey, I didn't like the way my chin looked, or I didn't like the way my hat was, or, whatever it is. And then somebody else sees it and said, wow, you did such a great job. I could never do that in public speak. So you have people recognize you for different things through social media. And it's really kind of a recognition standpoint. When you walk into a room, if you do enough social media, everybody will say, hey, I saw your last post. Oh, hey, I really agree with that. Or, hey, thanks for doing that because I learned something. So it's that's pretty much that.
I think you hit the nail on the head. You never know who's watching. I mean, we have people that reach out and say, oh yeah, I saw you talking about this the other day and wanted to connect. And so, yeah, it's kind of like fishing. You don't catch anything unless the line's in the water. That's right. Selfishly, I do hope that some of these shout outs get us a couple of free rounds of drinks at Wardsbridge. That'll be a win for us.
I think Brian still has us as a VIP guest, so I'm sure that we could talk him into that.
Very good. Do you have kind of like favorite services, like maybe on the kitchen side or the bath, that you're like, yeah, that's my jam, that's like where I really like to be?
I really like to be in the kitchen side. As far as, bathrooms are great. It's only one product for us usually, just because we're the vanity, and or just depending on the space, right? So if you have a large bathroom and you're looking to add makeup stations and different things, and there's so much fun stuff in organizers and vanities now. We have all types of Rev-A-Shelf things, or hardware solutions. So you have these inserts that do these incredible things, like hold hair dryers and have heat proof areas for curling irons, and that have plugs in the back so that this way when you open the drawer the specific unit comes on. It's really kind of come a long way. Then also organizers and so many different things, from women's makeup to toothbrushes and tip out drawers, and there's just something for everybody in cabinet organization in this day and time right now.
And do you guys, how does the relationship work with the countertops that might go in the kitchens or the vanities?
So we do countertops as well here at Sarlo Kitchen and Bath. We basically, we have here at the new location at 151 Ward Street, we'll be offering about 90 different samples of countertop that you can choose and select. At that, what we'll have is, various different brands and colors. Right now, quartz is really the industry standard. It's come a long way from granite. So at first, I would say the countertops were Formica, then they turned to Corian, then from Corian they turned to granite, and then from granite they went to quartz. And so quartz is now a man-made product that it's made to emulate European marble. And when the Italian marble is Carrara or Calcutta, and you can pretty much choose what color that you want now. They have become really, really great with just adding browns, grays, golds, whether it be blue-gray veins or blue veins or green veins or white backdrops or gray backdrops. It's really kind of sky's the limit. You can get red quartz. You can, pretty much do whatever you want. So that's why it's become the number one pick amongst customers. About 5 years ago, I would say that granite was still relevant. Now it's just kind of slipping away.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, I absolutely remember when it was like everybody had to have the granite,
Yeah, now everybody has to have the quartz. And really what it's going towards is also doing quartz backsplashes. So quartz straight up, full backsplashes, right up the entire wall. So it's really nice. Makes it look like the magazine picture.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Any other kind of trends that you see that you want to call out?
So really kind of what's trending now is we're getting these, so it's called moody kitchens. And really moody kitchens are darker colored kitchens. That's the latest trend, I would say. You're having a lot of blacks and browns paired together, typically colors that you wouldn't have in the past seen together, and put a lot of. So meaning if you have black cabinets, like a complete black kitchen with brown accents, that would have been viewed many years before this as just too dark. And now it has become way outside of the box. And the thinking of just colors and patterns to put together. So it allows us to have a much more creative job, because now instead of, it was for a very long time, it was I would usually say anybody could be a kitchen designer, because you could just say, hey, which kitchen would you like, white or gray? And that was pretty much it. So now we have a lot of different colors to choose from. And with the whether it be a moody kitchen or it be a blue kitchen, or we have a lot of the companies as their standard now are painting any Sherman-Williams or Benjamin Moore color. So you can literally pick any swatch from any of those displays and then bring it to me, and we will say, hey, whatever the cabinet company is, if it's the semi-custom or a mid-grade, and they'll paint it that color. So you could have a canary yellow kitchen, or you could have a teal kitchen, or you could have a pastel kitchen, which makes it very interesting, because in different rooms, like we think of where would we use those colors? Well, you might use those colors in a children's room, or you wanted a light powder pink, or if it's in a little boy's room, as you wanted a baby blue. Just in being able to be versatile like that really caused a lot of pivot in the market. Everything went from raised panels and such during pandemic to getting rid of raised panels and going flat panels in color. A lot of the browns disappeared, and they're just starting to come back now. So the trends are really kind of, what I see is wood tones coming back. They were discontinued for about 5 years. They really kind of took all of the espressos out of and merlots and cherry wood colors, of those, those deeper red colors, out of the market completely. And then now they're starting to reintroduce more medium tones and dark tones. And it's really been a nice thing. But another great addition has been white oak, in the way of repurposing oak. What they did was so how do you take something that had tiger stripes and make it not look like grandma's kitchen? They would take, so that what they do is they reverse the cut of the wood and they make riff cut or quarter sawn. So quarter sawn oak or riff cut is going to be a much tighter pattern, creating vertical striations that are tight together, and it makes a more consistent pattern. And you can do that in various different colors. So that has been really popular this year as well.
Well, that's awesome. I'm really curious, like, I know you guys do so much custom work. Have you ever had to install something that's like, I don't know, odd or bizarre? Like, anybody have like a, I don't know, strange thing that they wanted to include in the kitchen or bath?
I wouldn't say odd or bizarre. There's what we would consider odd or bizarre might be a color that we would never think went together. And as far as, so what I always tell everybody, that is just, when you come into your kitchen, regardless of who is involved, whether it be your family members or your best friend giving you opinions or whatever, we take all of that and throw that right out of the door, because the only person that needs to love that kitchen every single day is you. The kitchen and the bathrooms are the number one thing that's going to be changed in a house as you assume the house. So if you first buy a home, if it's a home that has been previously lived in, the first thing that's going to be ripped out from people buying it is going to be the kitchen and the bathroom. The number one thing for resale is going to definitely be to do to the kitchens and bathrooms. But when we redo these things and it's going to be our forever home, we should do it in the way that we love, and not be concerned with what people think. I've done lime green kitchens that I never thought like that. I never thought that anybody would choose maybe a lime green color. However, once we got done with it, and that once you saw that person's eyes light up, that's what you did it for. It's literally just, if it makes you elated as soon as you walk into the room, it's the right choice, no matter what the color selection is and or combination of countertop and color.
I know for a lot of contractors, one of the big challenges is remembering to take content photos on the job site.
Super important.
I'm sorry?
Super important.
Oh, yeah. How do you feel like you guys are consistent about that? Do you have any tricks you would like to share on, like, how do you make yourself do it?
So, well, it's easy for me because I do social media posts daily. But at the same time, for everybody out there, it's the best showing of your work. So it's really kind of, it's so important. Very, very seldom do we get to go back to a house. So that's right. So you don't really think about that part. So we get to a certain point in the process, and it's usually not the finished product. So essentially, it's important to take pictures of the product after the countertops go down, because you probably won't get to see the kitchen again once the people move in. Generally, what that means is that if it's a retailer, then yes, could you go back and could you ask to go back? Absolutely. But when it's a new construction build, there's so many things that are happening after you leave, and then that it could be a spec home, and that house is being sold off, months or a year later. It could be, that you're working with the customer, but at the same time, you're working through the contractor, so you don't have a lot of personal contact with the customer, other than for selections and the process of design. So in the importance factor is to capture pictures all through the process, not just a final picture. It should be a work in progress, and showing people the process, because the process is, well, it's not glamorous knowing that you can't wash your dishes for a month or 3 weeks, and that, maybe the only source of water is in your bathroom. So I won't go there where the dishes get washed, but you will definitely gain probably about 10 pounds from eating out at local restaurants, for a month while your kitchen's being remodeled. But once you get back in it, you'll absolutely love it.
And for homeowners that might be hearing this, is there a percentage of your projects that might be expansions of kitchens, or is it really just like existing footprint?
Yeah, so a lot of people will we encourage everybody to work within a budget. I'd like to start there. The most important thing that I find is I am very budget driven. I'm not going to push I want you to be comfortable where you're at. And you shouldn't have to be remortgaging, or, in the case of if you're looking for, you're refinancing the house to then put the addition on the house that you were, looking for the entire time that you were living there, then absolutely, then that's fine. But you should work within budgets to make sure that you're comfortable, and that you should be working with a dealer and a designer that is willing to stay within the budget. A lot of designers out here really kind of are just design commandos. And what they want to do is they want to show off their talent of, how many, pretty things they could jam into a design. But at the end of the day, everything on our design has quantifiable results, right? So they're boxes and decorations, but those boxes and decorations all yield pricing. So as far as that, really what I like to do is I like to talk about budget first, and then couple up a vendor that is able to hit that budget. We have semi-custom brands and we have mid-grade brands. The mid-grade brands are excellent. As far as the semi-custom brands are excellent as well. But maybe that is a little bit more than somebody wanted to spend. So why try to push them to the most expensive thing, which is what a lot of people do because they're in sales positions. So if we talk about budget first, and we talk about the best option for them, we're automatically giving them the best thing that they can get into for the most reasonable cost. And like I said, quality work at a fair price.
Yeah, oh, that's terrific. There's nothing worse than, designers that kind of like overdo it, or, they make it more about their own ego than serving the customer. So yeah,
exactly.
My background's design, so I fully appreciate people that kind of go off the rails.
Well, the other thing is like, hey, listen, that's also a selfish way of designing too, because in my way of sticking with budget is also because it's not a time waster, right? If I eliminate what is not going to be tangible for you, why is that not? That helps me, and it helps you, and it helps both of us get to the end quicker. So what that means is that if I were to sit you down and you had to sit next to me for 4.5 hours watching me design something, and then after that 4.5 hours I were to tell you you couldn't afford it, would you feel? How would you feel? You would feel used and abused. So as far as that and totally deflated, like you couldn't. I've had so many people come from other designers thinking they couldn't afford a kitchen. And the real reason was that they were putting install prices on that were absolutely outrageous, or they were putting in things that were the every single drawer in the kitchen had an organizer in it for anywhere from $500 to $1,000. So by the time you had 30 cabinets with 30 organizers in it, I mean, just do the math. It's crazy. So who thought in the world that was going to be a sellable kitchen? I mean, there might be people out there, but the average person is looking for, something that is better than what they have, and that it's going to transform their environment, and that they're going to feel clean and happy and, like coming to make their coffee every morning in that area. So that's what we aim to do. We aim to just fit the proper product with the proper person. And all of the products that we deal with are going to be top level and quality products. So there's not stepping down. It's just how much do you want to offer? In these, with all of the dealers that we choose from, when we say, what's the difference between a mid-grade cabinet or a semi-custom cabinet? I say this. So what that is book size. So the book size is how many options that you can have for each individual vendor. So if you were to go to a mid-grade cabinet, you're going to have probably this amount of options. If you go to a semi-custom cabinet, you're going to have this amount of options. Now, 90% of that might not have anything to do with anything that you would ever purchase. However, if you said, I'm really interested in an inset cabinet, well, then we have to go with the cabinet maker that makes an inset cabinet. If you said, hey, I want hickory, well, hickory is a specific species, and that's not carried by mid-grade cabinets normally. So at that, we'd have to go to a semi-custom, and it's going to cost you more. At that, it's important to know all this information, and most people won't even give you the opportunity to understand it. So it's important to have that, conversation up front, see what somebody's looking for, and best fit them with the product that they would like and need.
That's awesome. Now you've dropped tons of knowledge for homeowners. Like for me as a homeowner with an old house, I'm learning a ton. So this has been great for me. And I think also contractors listening, if you had to kind of boil down one group of advice for contractors that are hearing this and saying like, I want to grow like that and have successful business like that. And it's okay if you want to repeat something you've already said, but what would you tell them?
You just believe in yourself. It's really kind of as much as you want growth, you can't have growth without believing that every idea that you have is a good idea. It doesn't matter if it fails. If it's not received as well as you thought it would be, try again. Start something new. Really kind of just staying after success every day. I try to create forms of success every day. And pretty much in the midst of my day and working, I'm also thinking of what other form of success can I breed today for tomorrow. So as long as you just believe in yourself, and then you create a mental mindset of, I have to, before I go home today, create some sort of success for tomorrow or line it up, then these things that seem like luck or seem like a Cinderella story or seem like, they're just falling into place. It's really not. It's strategy. It's making sure that when people doubt you and when people think that, or the comments that'll come across is you wouldn't be able to, or you couldn't, or, I don't agree with, or, whatever those negative comments are, is literally to take everybody out of the equation and just do what you think is correct. And then once you do that, if it didn't work, try something else, because something will stick. And then that will all of a sudden propel you or catapult you to the top.
And I don't, this isn't my usual follow-up, but where did you learn that?
So I have a mentor right now that I won't name by name, but is, just somebody that selflessly gave me opportunity. And I would say that I can't say that I have one, I have two mentors. And with that, two people that have really selflessly given me opportunity when nobody else had to, and when they didn't have to. And at that, I appreciate, and also having a network of people with no monetary blowback, no monetary investment, and just people that hold you accountable. It's super important to have those people in your life that will hold you accountable each day and push you towards success because you're doing the same thing for them. So that is my my wrap up. So I want to say a personal thank you to those two people. You know who you are.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Cheers to mentors, man. Absolutely. Now this is the Topping Off podcast. So Topping Off is the name of the celebration, when the structure has been complete. Now we're not building skyscrapers or anything in the kitchen and bath, but do you guys have any kind of tradition when a job is done to celebrate it, put a capstone on it?
We go out to dinner, buddy. So it's going to be me and you. And if Wardsbridge is your place, of which is mine, so I definitely have to say that let's go out. Let's get some good food in our belly and have some great conversation with some locals.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome, fantastic. Oh, so excellent. Now, you mentioned the new showroom that's in Montgomery, and you mentioned Facebook. Is there anywhere else that you would recommend that people can find you?
Sure. I mean, well, as far as right now, we're working on actually, this is the one thing that I have not set up yet, which is seemingly the most silly. I don't have a Google review page. So it's just that I've been so busy with everything else, which is probably one of the most important things that I should have. Because one thing that I realized is that the people that are connecting with me on Facebook are trying to contact me through Google, and Google is not connected in some way, shape, or form with phone calls. So even though it highlights my number, and they go to make a call or contact direct through Google, it won't connect if you don't have a Google page. So essentially, right now, I would say you could find us on Facebook, Twitter, also Instagram. We're on all the social media networks. And as far as the best way to contact me is just by phone, 845-264-1506. You can contact me personally at whatever time at night, whatever time in the morning. We are here all day, every day to make everybody happy with their kitchen and bath and stone.
Fantastic. That's hospitality. That's the restaurant industry into the construction industry.
That's it.
Well, Dennis, thank you so much. Appreciate your time very much. Again, huge value that you've dropped on just your ethos and making a successful business right out of the gate. And no doubt that you guys are going to hit your future growth goals. If you're listening to this podcast and you liked it, we encourage you to please like, rate, and subscribe so that we can grow and continue to feature people in the contracting industry all across the country. For the Topping Off podcast, Kevin Sterling signing off.
Thank you so much, Kev.